What's going on, everyone? This is Brady Harrington, and you are listening to the Pump Podcast. Pump stands for Prepare Ultimate Mental Performance. This episode is brought to you by Hoop Culture. Hoop Culture is your off-the-court, unique and authentic basketball streetwear. You can use our 10% off code HCFAM-pump. I repeat, HCFAM-pump to receive 10% off your next order. If you have any questions after the episode or you want to reach out for new ideas, please reach out to Harrington, HARRINGTON, pump@gmail.com, or you can reach out to our Instagram page, PUMP_pod. I really appreciate you giving this a listen. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.
All right, we're back. Episode 15. Another great one today, ladies and gentlemen. I got Rob Wann A.K.A. Ref Rob. Rob, how you doing, man? Yes, sir. No, I totally all right. I mean, I'm excited to get perspectives from your end now, just talking about sports in general, hoops. And we got your side of the story, just tying together everything with the mental aspects. I was getting right into things, man, like we talked about a little bit. On the Indy Star, they just had an awesome write-up on you. I got to read it. Just give me a little background real quick on how that experience was and how that felt for you.
High school and college basketball a long time, and the guy that is the chief prep sports writer for the Indy Star, Kyle, he had reached out. We had talked during the football season about possibly him coming out during basketball season and interviewing me and, telling my story and how the videos became crazy over the last couple of years and really like 3 years and just my story and, my journey and what I'm still trying to do. And, it was kind of funny that, people always, when I go places now, so many people are like, oh, you're the TikTok ref or you're the social media ref.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been rep for 22 years.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it's not like it's your first time going out there.
And
doing this.
At a pretty high, decently high level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then people think I'm like, some people are like, oh, I just do videos and stuff, man. So, like, no, I really ref 6 nights.
Yeah, that's just a little part of it. And that's just all that people get to see. So, no, that's great, man. So when you did, where did the inspiration come from, starting to get the videos out there? And
man, the video story is crazy. And they kind of hit on it in the Indy Star a little bit.
Yes, I saw a little piece of it.
I never knew this. Anyway, this kid just got a website called Hoop Edits. And his name is Cage McCorkle. The kid is doing great with his life, man. Right now he's on Gatorade Player of the Year for all high school sports. He's actually working for ESPN right now down at the national championship, and then he'll fly out. But the kid's doing great. But to make a long story short, I refed his 2 older brothers in college and in high school. And I had a high school game one afternoon. I don't know. Don't ask me to be exact. About 4 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
I just seen a kid running around, with a camera and video, whatever. They were taping the game. I just thought they were taping the game, and I had a college game that night. When did the college game? Sunday mornings, I'm get up, looking at my phone, checking the scores, and flipping through social media, and I came across on, I think it was Instagram. I was like, why am I running back and forth to music, And I thought somebody was like, it was a joke or something.
Yeah.
And he hit me up a few minutes later and just was like, hey, I always like the way you talk when you officiate. I just thought it'd be super cool to do a video of, and he's like, I hope you don't mind. And I was like, man, if it helps you out in your, your journey.
So he never told you beforehand that he did
I didn't even know
afterward.
The kid was like, I think he was a sophomore, junior at the time. He was like you know what I mean? I just thought that he was just doing it for the school, right? And, within the next couple of weeks, he posted it. I think I reposted it on my social media page. And a lot of guys that I refed in college, the Pro-Am, Pacers, Bradley Beal, Hallenberg, just a lot of guys started commenting on it and saying I was a really good official. And it just, that's how it got started. And it just went from there. And then in the summer, that same summer, he said, "Hey, Rob, can I mic you up?" And I was like, "It's on summer
That's
ball."
when it started taking off.
Obviously, I can't do it on high school or college, but I did let him mic me up for a semi-program. I do ABA too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, it just kind of went crazy, man. Um, the thing I like about it the most, man, is I brought a different aspect of officiating.
Yes, you
And
did. Yes, you did.
I've always been a little less traditional than some of the robot guys, and there's nothing, I'm not disrespecting them at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really officiate like a robot. So I think it's given a different aspect of officiating. And then if people like it, and the other cool thing is I've had probably over 100 people over the last couple of years reach out to me and want to start officiating, which is super cool because the fact is at the high school level, they're short in every state.
Yeah.
They don't have enough everywhere, whether it's Indiana, California, New York, wherever it
No
is.
matter,
They're short
man.
in
There's
officials.
a
Yeah.
lack in it always.
And there's really a shortage on good officials. And I'm going to say that as well. So that's the thing I kind of really like them almost the most.
No, it's good to inspire the other guys too.
Yeah. It's not a, like I said in that Star article, I'm never going to be bigger than a game. I'm an official, man. I've
Yes, sir.
never tried to be bigger than the game. I read some of the comments and they don't really bother me because, if you've played basketball at a high level, if you've refed it at a high level, and when I say this, it's no disrespect to the general public because, listen, without fans, there's nothing. I get it.
Exactly.
But, like, for me to watch a NBA or a college game with a bunch of people that don't understand, like, rules or don't understand the game itself, I can't really do it. That's why I really, when I watch hoop, it's either by myself, with my son, or with maybe a couple of other people that understand. It's not a knock on nobody because don't think I'm looking down at somebody, but it's like, when I went to the IU USC game yesterday,
Okay.
women's game. My daughter works for IU Athletics. One of her best friends is Sydney Parrish, who plays for IU, and I wanted to see Juju.
Yeah, it's totally.
And I had great seats. Went to the game, and I go to Pacer games all the time. So I go to Pacer games the end of the season because I ref every day. But I go to, I've been to so many games in my life. But the point I'm making is when people start screaming like rules that not rules and like
Bite, like how often you biting your tongue? Like,
oh my God, I just sit there like this person's nuts. That's what I'm thinking to myself. Like they have no understanding of how to officiate, what's a rule. Like just one, for example, it was a player control foul while the team was in the bonus and they were screaming that they should have been shooting free throws. And I'm like,
man, I could bless you up with some knowledge right now, man. I get it. And
yeah,
I've always wondered too. So I actually a couple of years ago I got certified to ref when I was a GA in the Albany area. I got into it a little bit, and I've always ref like back then like in high school, college,
right.
And so I've gotten to see both sides of it now, all three, like player, coach.
Absolutely.
And for you, I've wanted to, and we'll talk about your college playing days too, but as a ref, so now going to all these games or even at home watching back home with a couple people, how much going from not being a ref at all to when you were a ref has like changed your perspective of watching the game?
Listen,
are you able to turn it off at all, or it just
no, Bray, that's a really good question. And my wife, if she was here, would tell you this. When I played, I didn't have the best attitude, and I see that now, and that's on me.
Yep.
And then when my kid played, I had just started reffing, and right before I started, I was terrible. Like I was always screaming at refs, and so I was always screaming at referees. And then when I started officiating, my wife was like, "You're gonna get this back 50 times over." I understand it, and I understand what an idiot I was when I was sitting there screaming too. When the kid was in third grade, I was like, "You were really an idiot." I'm just being honest. If you can't be honest with yourself from the mistakes that you've made, it's just like anything in life. You know what I mean? It's like then you're not growing.
Yeah, it's like the classic. You got to walk a mile in someone else's shoe too, man.
Yeah.
Like you gotta see the whole picture of it, and I mean that's how I saw the change too when I was a ref, seeing it through. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, man, like, listen, real time
And, you know,
compared to sitting in the bleachers is completely different.
I always tell people this too. It's really easy to make a travel call on on your couch. Excuse me. Try reffing at a really high level, a very
Moving up
intense
and down
game,
the whole game.
6,000 people screaming at you, running full speed for an entire game. It's a whole lot different than sitting on your couch saying, "Yo, he traveled." Yeah, you're probably right. You know,
Yeah. And like most people should be able to see that if you're like sitting there watching, like
well,
like when you're actually
you
on the
know,
court though, like real time, man, real speed is tough.
and for NBA fans, like people have to understand that the rules are different from the NBA travel than the high school and college travel. It's called a gather step, zero step, whatever you want to call it, because as you know, that's what people scream, "Oh, he traveled." They don't call travel in the NBA. Don't get me wrong. Do they miss a travel here? They're
Oh yeah, yeah.
absolutely just, yeah, but it's a different travel rule. You have to understand what a zero step is or a gather step
Yep.
to understand what travel
Compared to
is.
high
And
school, completely different, man. Completely different.
absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's good stuff, man. So yeah, going back a little ways then. So we mentioned college a little bit already. So where do you play college ball at?
I went to an NAI school called McMurray College in Jacksonville, Illinois.
Okay,
Small.
got you.
Played 4 years. Had a good career.
What position?
Excuse me.
What position were you?
Man, I had bad size, but I was between a point and a two. It was weird because I didn't play the point in high school.
Okay, and then they
I was
were
more of a two and a wing.
yeah,
And when
yeah,
I went to college, I had to learn how to play the point, which was really hard. So
yeah,
I kind of was more of a combo guard, but I mean, I kind of figured it out. It took me a minute, but
yeah. Especially college, whatever it takes to get on the floor too, man.
yeah, man, I had a decent career. It's a good NAI player.
There
I
you go.
thought I could have been a lot better, and most people that play with a confidence about them, I think they can play at a higher level than they played, and I did too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
But I'm not bitter. It's just like, I look at it now and, I'm not in a Power Five conference officiating, and I wish I was, but I always said I've gone a lot farther with this than I ever thought I would. So, I'm not, I always said I wouldn't be that guy like sitting on a bench at the park saying, "Oh, if I hurt my knee, I'd have been in the league." And,
Yeah, yeah,
people don't understand, when I have so many young guys say, I want to pursue the NBA career. Okay, I said, been through this. I'm still an NBA practice official, but I always tell guys, you have to put this into perspective. People that want to pursue an NBA career or a G League career or a WNBA career. In the NBA, there's 75 guys that are on staff. That's it. 75 that are in the union. 75 or 80. I'm not sure the exact number, but it's something like that.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's fluctuated over the contract. But you have to put that in perspective. That's pretty difficult. You think you're one of the best 80 in the world, and then you have to be what they're looking for now as well. Like you see most of the younger people that are getting in now, they almost have the same physique. They almost all run the same. That's things they probably won't tell you, but
Yeah.
that's where we're at today. College basketball, if you're not working the D1 level, after some years, small college basketball will wear you out because of the travel. I'm content now working Pacer and Fever practices. I work several pro leagues, not the NBA, but
Yep. Yep.
that pay okay. I'm kind of content with that because I don't want to travel as much.
Yeah. No. No. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I am gonna work the TBL this year,
There
which
you
is
go. There you
NBA
go. At
grassroots.
another level. And I was gonna ask you real quick before we get into that. So when you were playing at the college level, how were your relationships overall with refs as a player? I know you mentioned a little
Not
bit.
good.
Yeah.
No, they
Yeah.
weren't. You know what? I was a a-hole. Excuse that. Yeah, I
Uh-huh,
was. I
uh-huh.
always had something to say. So yeah, not good. I've learned so much from officiating, and I've learned so much, and I know we were talking about how sometimes officiating kind of goes with mental health as well. Friendships, relationships, everything, at the high school level. College level is a little different than high school because you have to be better to get picked up. I don't care if it's D3, NAI, D2, whatever you're working. You got to go to camp and get picked up. High school level, get your license. If you're good enough, you'll get big games. And if you won't, you shouldn't. I mean, that's the truth. But I'm friends with a lot of people a lot of officials doesn't mean I want to work with all of them. You know, you have to learn to separate it up to a point, because I always tell people this when they start moving up, and let's say you're an elite high school official. At the college level, you don't get to choose who you work with. Even at the high school level, you don't as much. If you have a good relationship with your assigner or your supervisor, or however they assign games, you can kind of request people to work with. But I always tell people, like, why it's important to work with good people, especially on big games, because I tell you this much: you've been a basketball fan most of your life. 9 out of 10 times when a game is officiated poorly, they never say, "Hey, that dude over there in the yellow hat, he's a bomb ass official." No, they say the whole crew is terrible.
Bro. Yep.
That's the
Brings down with
reality of
it.
it.
Yeah.
So if you're with people that are not at the level that they need to be on the officiating side, big games is not where to learn. You got to work your way
Yeah, you
up
gotta
to that,
develop it.
because
You gotta develop it.
you're going to bring a lot of people down with you.
Yeah. So how do you say, like, and it could have been at any point really, because you probably deal with it all the time, but say you're on a crew that maybe you don't know both the guys, or you know one, not the other. I've seen a little bit in the videos in general, but how do you establish a rapport with the other two or the other official on staff? Like, do you do something before the game to
Yeah,
prepare and help them out or get them to a level?
any high school or college game, we're always going to do a pregame. If it's summer ball and I'm working with somebody I don't know on the AAU side,
Yeah.
that's not a camp like EYBL, Shot Work, or Adidas Gauntlet, or the Under Armour, a circuit.
Yeah.
In a circuit, you're gonna work normal 3-man mechanics with a crew. But if I'm with people that I don't know, one of the things for me is, what I always say is consistency, number one. Let's be consistent on both ends of the court.
Okay.
Let's stay as professional as we can and communicate the best as we can. Talk them out of as much as we can, and enforce the rules. That's the basics of officiating.
Yeah, let's take care of that and go from there.
Yeah, that's why it's important to work with people that understand, especially the level you working. Like in summer ball, obviously the EYBL is probably the highest level. You can let guys play through contact. You're gonna call what you need to
Yeah, you
call.
call the level. Yeah, you
Yeah,
got to let a couple things
you
go
know,
get to that level.
yeah. If you are at like an EYBL level, which is like doing a D1 game, and you're calling touch fouls up front, you're not gonna officiate very long. That's
Yeah.
just true.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta let some play on. So, like, with that, during the game, say it's just you and another guy, you're out in your half court near the coach's box. Coach comes up to you, and you knew too. Say like your partner on the game made the wrong call, or he didn't make a good call. Coach goes up to you, hey man, like, what was that call? That's not a good call. Without like putting your guy, like the other ref, under the table, what do you talk? Like, how do you go about that with the coaches?
That's a really good question. And that's a question I don't think I've been asked in a lot of these interviews. That's a really good
So I'm
question.
gonna give you.
No, that's a good one. I would never throw them under the bus. Like in that case, if it's a summer game and we're only doing 2-man or 3, even if it's
Yeah, you
3
know
down,
three. Yeah.
what I'm going to say is, Coach, give us a minute to rotate so you can ask him what
Ask
he
him.
saw.
Okay. Okay.
Because I'm not going to throw him under the bus.
Exactly. Okay.
I've had coaches, like, I've been doing this a long time, 22 years. So, like, sure, I've had coaches say, especially the ones I have relationships with, like, that was a BS call, Rob, whatever. Why did he call that? And I might, if I know it was a really bad call, I'm still not ever going to throw him under the bus, but I'll probably laugh a little bit of, like, Coach, what if I always say, you probably need to ask him that.
Yeah, let's talk to him about it.
Rob, that's a terrible call. I was like, Coach, I was looking in my area. I stay in my primary.
Yeah, no, that's what you gotta
Not
do.
my primary. That's a good way to get out of it. But usually if I start laughing, he kind of knows I probably agree with him that I wouldn't have called that, but I'm still going to let my partner answer it, and I'm not going to throw him under.
Okay.
Because to remain as a crew and work well together, you can't throw your partner under. That's one thing you can't do. I'm going to
No,
laugh.
I remember that for training too, and like
Yeah.
talking with guys in general. Like, it's general rule of thumb. Like, don't
I'm
put your partner under the bus, man.
I'm always, and that's just like on the court. I'll never ever come to you on a foul. Your foul is your foul. If we get an out of bounds play on the baseline, and let's say I'm in the slot, and I see where it goes, and I see the only time I will ever come to you is if I am 140%. It's still your call. I'm gonna come to you, and you've seen this two come together they do it in the NBA.
Yep.
And you're gonna say, "Hey, dude, I'm 100% sure it went off the other team. We need to go that way." Some officials will blow the whistle, point that way because he knows you're correct. Because I'm only gonna come to you if I'm 1,000.
And that's how
I'm
it
gonna
should be.
go.
Like some angles, refs are gonna miss the angles, and it's tough. And I learned the lesson the hard way as a ref, man. Like earlier in the podcast, I want to say episode 3 or 4, a guy named Tony Lindsay, AAU coordinator, youth club. He's a ref too. He's out of the Binghamton area, and one time it was me and him on a big summer league game, and ball got tipped out of bounds. I clearly saw it. It was off red. He called off white, and without talking to him, I blew it. I'm like, no. I got a good look. And he gives me a look. And I'm like, oh, man, I should.
Yeah.
And he said afterwards, hey, listen, like, you see it. We got to communicate first.
Because if it's in his primary, I'm going to come to him and I'm going to say, I'm 100% sure. And if you are bent sure that I'm wrong, you still can go the other way. I'm not going to throw you under the bus. I'm going to run back down court.
Yeah, and I messed up there, man.
But most guys that I work with know that if I do come to them that I'm 100, because I'm not going to come and get in your house and tell you it was wrong.
Yeah.
So, no, but yeah.
No, it's good. Like managing games like that, man. It's keeping that communication, like that teamwork is especially good. All right, so we got we talked about a little bit with college ball, moving your way up. So I see you're in the classroom right now at school today. So give me a little background, like during the day, what you're doing.
I teach social skills. I'm a social worker. I teach social skills, behavioral kids and some kids with autism. Great. Yeah.
So with that, and I remember we talked on the phone about it a little bit. So this sparked a question up for me. Do you think, let's say rest at the higher level. So let's go with high level college to the league, even G League and even overseas. Do you think they should have any type of prerequisite education wise to be a good ref? So like with you, I see, your social skills teacher, and guess what? That's translating over real well on the court because you're very good with social skills, communicating with players, communicating with coaches. Do you think there should be anything? Obviously, the training, but what else do you think?
Well, most of the guys in the league all they either own, a lot of them had owned business. A lot of D1 college guys own businesses as well because your travel.
Yeah, so you're doing something during the day and you're doing your own schedule.
A lot of guys in the NBA, if you look at a lot of the guys in the NBA, they had military backgrounds.
Okay.
So I don't know if forcing it, me personally, now this is just
what do you think works the best then? Not like forcing it, but what do you think works the best?
I want to speak on two ways. Like right now, obviously, the league's not going to pick me up at this point in my life, and that's fine. I want to maintain what I'm doing with a couple of NBA teams. And WNBA. But I'm not the biggest fan of some of the people there because I think, like, okay, I'm going to use a ref as an official as an example. I think, Mark Davis is NBA official?
Absolutely.
I think Mark's communication skills, the respect he has, his demeanor, his play calling, the total package. Mark doesn't give as many T's as a lot of the younger guys and females. Excuse me, because it's not just the guys. But I think a lot of the younger, the letting in, I think maybe it's the training they're doing. I haven't been in the program for years, so I'm not going to I can't comment. But I did talk to a few people I know that are working in G League right now, and they almost call themselves cookie cutters because they're all the same.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about that before. And I think the league is always going to back the officials. That's what they're going to do, unless it's just blatantly wrong. And
what they've done, the league has done that before too. They let them know, hey, we're going to hold ourselves accountable here.
Well, Brady, here's the thing with social media, TV, everything that's out there today. When somebody actually, and it's even at the high school level, and I think obviously I'm not arrogant. I have a strong social media presence now, so I understand it whatsoever. But like, social media is making a lot of high school guys feel uncomfortable because big high school games, where calls are screwed up, you know I know it's probably in New York as well, because in Indiana, I look all the time and people are like, what were they looking at? What were they?
But with social media, nothing's going to get missed.
Nothing's
So you're
off.
not going to miss anything. And they see,
Right.
people want to call it, and yeah, man.
Exactly.
Instagram rats. That's what they call it, the Instagram
It's
rats.
tough. And in the NBA, when somebody does make a mistake, I don't want to say screwed up, but makes a mistake, makes a poor call, misses a whatever it is, they're under a microscope. So when they are wrong, the NBA doesn't have a choice but to come out and say, hey, I thought the game, maybe it was about a month ago, Philly game, where the ejections were first they put out Drummond, I think, then it was Embiid.
That was like right before Christmas, right?
Yeah, it was about a month ago.
Yeah. I know what game you're talking about.
I didn't think that was a good look.
No.
And who they hire is who they hire. I don't care. At this point, it's not obviously I have no horse in the race, but what I'm saying is, I just think it's different. Years ago, if you look at the people in the NBA right now, the majority of them that have been in 20, 25 years or so, most of those people came out of college. They started at the D1 level, or not necessarily started at the D1 level. We're at the D1 level, and then they got picked up, whatever journey, however their journey taken. A lot of the younger ones today, they want to groom. Like the NBA wants to groom them the way they want to groom them, and just not the biggest fan of cookie cutters, the cookie cutter way. I think, what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of people that officiate like me. I always tell people, when I see I don't even respond to it when people say what people say on my social media stuff. But if you watch my play calling, I'm very consistent. Do I miss a call? Absolutely. Nobody out there that with a whistle is 100%.
Yep.
But I communicate a little differently than a lot of people, especially today, are training people to communicate. And it's okay. But if you also read a lot of and I don't read all that, it's too much. But
if you get caught up in it, man, I can only assume what it could do to someone.
I get a lot more compliments than I do criticism.
I was about to say, just like from the outside looking in, like coming across your content a couple months ago.
I'm not going to talk about a call forever, and I'm not going to stop every play to respond to a coach or a fan. But if I have a dead ball and a coach asks me something, it's like, Rob, what did you see there? This is what I saw, and that's why I called it. And we might have a laugh, especially if I have some type of relationship, with
exactly. No, I mean that's how it's supposed to be, especially with and we could go into that too a little bit further. So, I think personally, like from what I've like what I got to see, like with your background, like we talked about the social skills, being a teacher, and I think what helps you and like why you're where you're at right now in regards to the social media platforms, because like you said, like you're not going by the cookie cutter way, and like your way of communication not only stands out, not a lot of refs do it, but you're also making a teaching point with the players and the coaches. So go in a little bit about, I guess for starters, I know that you've been in the business, you said 22 years?
Yeah, 22.
So when do you think, have you always been that type of way ever since day one, or when did you get into that, and what made you think the teaching points are really good?
I think like my first few years, I think anybody that works their first few years, they probably explain themselves a little more because they're not sure of themselves.
Yeah,
it takes a while. It takes a while with that whistle to know
let it talk.
What you're doing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because I thought because I played and I've watched basketball my whole life, I can officiate. I was absolutely atrocious my first year.
Yeah, I saw in the Indy Star that first couple.
I was terrible. And started getting better my second year. But the one thing I did do is, and I think for a lot of officials, and it comes down to, I'm sorry, guys, that was my radio.
Nah, you're good.
I think it comes down to, if you want to get better, I am a believer in a strong mentor. I had 4 or 5 people that really helped me on probably more than that, but just like 4 or 5 that stand out on my journey.
Yeah.
And they were honest with me. They didn't say, tell me I was better than I was. They were like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this before you ever think about working at this level.
Okay.
And that was a big help. I think honesty
in the business.
is
Yeah, 100%.
where you're at, because that's the problem too. I think a lot of people, they tell guys you're ready for this when they're not ready. That's just like, I mean, it's a different aspect of it, but we seeing this today more and more. Question I've been asked: what's changed in basketball, especially summer basketball,
Okay.
over the last 20 something years, and high school and college? I think regardless of what you're doing, I think coaches are going to fight for their team for the most part. Sure, in the summer we get some guys that don't have a clue, and that's okay. I won't even, I'm not going to throw anybody under.
Yeah.
And it's a small percentage. Most guys at least got a clue. Do I think the kids are more disrespectful? Not really. I think they're buying into their social media presence so much. A lot of them think they're better than they are.
Okay.
The fans are going to be fans. They're going to scream. They're going to yell for their team.
Yeah, gonna be the same. So
That's
you're
about
saying you think the players are getting better, like with player official relationship? Like
summer
where do you
ball.
think
No,
that's at right now?
it could be improved, because
Yeah.
sometimes I can do a pregame before the game, especially like in a rivalry game.
Yeah.
And it should be like this in any game, but a rivalry game. And I might say, guys, this is your warning. White talk to white, blue talk to blue. We're not going to have you guys in each other. I'll never take their enthusiasm from it. You get a dunk, you hit a three, and you run down court. You're celebrating with your teammates. You pump. I'll never take that from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the first thing a fan will say. This is why in summer ball, where we're talking about consistency, is another one. Somebody dunks on somebody in the summer. What's the first thing they do? They flex, they get in their face, they do all this BS that they can't do during high school, or they shouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
And when I whack them, or that means give them a tee, when I tee them up, they're
Yep.
like, what do you do that for? You're trying to take, I'm trying to take, you know what I'm trying to do? Control the game. Not control it like it's under my thumb, but control it where we're not going to have any bull crap as we go.
Well, that's a learning point too. If you're saying if it's in summer league, that's a learning point, because once you get to the season, man, like being a coach myself, like I'm gonna be upset with my player if they're gonna do something.
But even at the high school level, we'll give instructions before the game, and we still either sometimes have to use our whistle for whatever, or separate kids, but whatever. But the biggest change I was going to say, Brady, and I didn't mean to get off of what I was talking
No worries.
about, is, and I know I'll piss a lot of people off with this, but it's okay. It's parents' unrealistic expectations. If one more parent tells me what ranking their kid is, I always tell people like this, Brady, we can do this today. We can, after this podcast, we can get together and say, hey, give me 20 guys from New York that's really good in the senior class, and I can give you 20 guys from Indiana that's really good,
Yeah.
or Chicago area or whatever, and we can start Brady and Rob's ranking service. And we can rank 7th graders, 6th graders, I don't care, whatever you want to do, and you can put it on the internet. And somebody is going to believe their ranking. Because and then the thing is, I ain't seen half of these kids play, but you're ranking them whatever.
Yeah,
And that is the biggest change that I've seen. I've got so many parents that'll say, oh, yeah, my kid's ranked whatever. He's going to the ACC or the Big East or the Big Ten. I'm like, your kid will probably play D2 if he's lucky, but that's neither here nor there.
So they're basically using their kids' ranking as like what? Leverage for
they'll say it all the time, especially if a team loses and they got a bunch of so-called ranked kids in the summer. We got all these rankings and we lost. The officials must have cheated, or
okay. So they're blaming it on the officials with their high-ranked kids.
The first thing they say when somebody, and I'm blessed, I don't really have no problems, I really don't. But when I hear them from
other
courts, I'm not saying I don't have any. I'm not perfect at all, but like the majority of my games do run smooth because one thing I am is consistent. But when I hear this, you cheated or whatever, do you think a summer ball official, when a team let's say a team from Tennessee is playing a team from New York, and it's and the tournament happens to be in Indiana, I don't know one kid on this court.
Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares?
I don't know one kid.
Yeah.
Come on.
And they think they've been cheated out, man.
Use your common sense. Like, I really care who wins this game. I'm just being honest. I could care less.
Yeah.
I don't care. Here's the thing. One thing that I had to work on, though, Brady, is because so many people know me, and I know so many kids, college, high school. So it's like very seldomly do I go somewhere and officiate, especially in the Midwest, where I don't know somebody.
I got you.
I think That's one of the biggest compliments that I got when this stuff first started is a lot of people were on there like, regardless if Rob knows whoever, he always calls the game. I call the game. Can I give you a funny example?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go
I
ahead.
had Latimer and Addicts. You've heard of Latimer the prep,
Yeah,
right? I
not
had
every addicts, but a lot of me.
yeah, okay. Addicts is a really good, strong
Okay,
program.
okay.
And well, that was a high school game I had in December. Jalen Harrelson plays for Latimer. He's going to Notre Dame next year. I've known the kid since. If he saw this right now, he'd still probably say he didn't foul him. But anyway, I've known the kid for a long. I got a great relationship with him, his family. He's a great kid. I'm proud of him. So proud of him. I called his third and fourth foul on him in that game.
Okay.
And after the game, he was like, I was like, Jalen, you fouled him.
I gotta call what I see, man.
And we laughed about it. He was like, and his dad said, I went after the game was over. I went over there because I know the families. I was walking out.
Yeah.
And, I just went over to spoke, told him good luck, and his dad was like, Jalen, Rob made a great call that you did foul. So whether it was a great call or not, but that's the one thing that I've always prided myself in, regardless if I know you, if I've officiated you before, if you're a 5-star recruit, 4-star recruit,
Don't matter.
if you're an All-American in college, I've seen a lot. Like I said, I've been the Pacers practice official for 13 years, so I've reffed a lot of good players.
No, you see it. And I actually was going to ask you that question of how difficult it was at first. I remember when I was doing, say, summer league games, I know both the coaches or I know a couple of the players. It's a kind of a little awkward when like things are starting to get serious and you know someone and they're like, hey, like,
it is.
And so like, how over time, how have you been able to handle calling games with coaches and players that you know? Like, has it still been a little? I mean, by now I'm assuming you got nailed down, but like, when you got going a little bit, like, is it tough to?
It's tough. It is, but
I'd rather do a bunch of strangers than people I know.
Me too. But
Yeah,
the
100%.
problem is, now it's very difficult for that to happen for me. It's harder now than it was 5 years ago. I think, Brady, it just goes back to, the respect level that I have and the consistency that I try to call a game in.
Yep.
That's what it comes back to. They know with me, I'm going to give you I'm going to call what I see, and hopefully I have a pretty good game where I don't miss much. So I'm a believer in trying to get a flow to the game. I'm a believer in all marginal contacts, not a foul. So I go out there every game and I try to do the best I can. And one thing that I've always done is I always try to get better. I've listened to people. I've always been open-minded. So when I get constructive criticism to this day, I listen to it.
Absolutely. That's great.
I'm not that guy that's like, oh, you're wrong and I'm right. One thing that when you go to college camps, one thing that it'll teach you too, tape don't lie. Like, or a supervisor that's sitting there watching you the entire game, that's what he's there for, to evaluate you to see if you're good enough for this level. So that's what I believe in, man. You know what? The truest thing about, especially when you're on a college level, you can blow a call. Everybody's going to miss a call. I don't care if you're in the Big Ten, ACC, whatever. You're gonna miss a block charge. You're gonna call some marginal contact you may should have let go. Whatever. What you can't do is blow a rule. That's unacceptable. A call is a lot different. Your calls are judgment. You're paid to have really, really good judgment. But you can't not blow a rule. That's what I always tell the younger guys. Get in the book, know the rules that you're officiating. There's
Then people can tell you you're doing your job poorly.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's not. I've always said that's not acceptable, because that means you're cheating your craft.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's good stuff. And on top of that, I was also curious. So, I mean, this is mostly from high level college to NBA. I've always wondered what a high level ref's social life is like. So, for you, I know obviously it's a little bit different compared to others now with the platform and everything. But let's just go with your family, for example. Does your wife and kid ever go to the games, or you tell them stay away from the games because you're going to hear some things that you're not going to like? You know what I mean?
My wife usually goes to, I don't know, 2 or 3 games a year.
Okay. So you don't have a whole lot of family going to the games.
No, she doesn't. Because it's not really, here's the thing, like whether you're doing a high school game, college game, whatever you're doing, or a semi-pro game, if you get there an hour before the game, that's about when you're going to go get dressed, do your pregame. So you're sitting for an hour, and then the game, and then, maybe the ride home is all you really get. And then I usually process for a little while after the game anyway, try to rewind a few plays I had.
Yeah.
During the season, I don't have a lot of time to watch tape because I work 6 days a week.
Yep.
So it's difficult. So I kind of like try to process a few things. So it's not really worth her going. It's not like we're really spending quality time.
Yeah. And I'm
she goes,
assuming they're
yeah,
gonna hear something that's gonna I mean, depending on the person, man. Like I've had
yeah,
family members be at a game before I reffed, and they told me after, man, I was about to talk to this
oh
person
yeah,
about saying this about you. I'm
yeah.
like,
They're
listen,
gonna.
don't come to anymore because
That.
you're gonna keep hearing that.
Oh
You
yeah,
know
they're
what's
gonna.
true and what's not true.
It's You're
You
gonna
gotta
hear
be
it
open.
all. Yeah, you're gonna hear it all.
Yeah,
You're gonna hear everything.
I hear it now. Okay. And you've gotten to know a lot of higher level officials now. And you don't have to get obviously personal or give any specific examples, but like NBA refs, has any part of their social lives and their family lives had to have changed because?
They do. Obviously, I've never been an NBA official. I do know a few and guys that's been in the program.
Yeah.
Their lives are,
Like they gotta keep a low profile. Like, can they just go to the
yeah,
movies on any given day, or
they keep a really low profile, and
yeah,
the level they're under the microscope is tough, So
at any given night?
it's tough. Most of the time they'll do a post game, they'll go to dinner together, and you're out. I'm not sure now, but I think you're out 5 days a week. You might during the season. I believe you're home 1.5 days.
Okay.
Probably 2 of those days are travel. You're probably working. The salary guys are working 3 games a week,
Mm-hmm.
2 to 3. Now they do have guys from the G League that they do punch in certain situations.
Okay.
I'm not even sure of anymore, but yeah, they have a very, very, very low profile life. College side, I think it depends on the guys.
Yeah. Probably
It's
like the
not,
most well-known dudes are like that.
yeah, there's some guys out there that are doing some. I don't even know the high knees ref. I think his last name is Anderson.
I know. Yeah. Okay.
He's I don't know if he releases that or if anybody else's, but a lot of people comment on his stuff. I kind of like what he does myself.
Yeah.
I'm a little less stay in the box, stay in the box, stay in the box. For me at this point, it's been really different the last few due to the videos because the thing is during the season I'm blessed. When I say this, I'm overwhelmed and I'm blessed because I really think I'm one of the least arrogant people around. But like a lot of people ask me to take pictures now from it, which
Nah,
I
I mean, it's gotta
always
be a cool situation, man.
yeah,
Because
and I
all the
always
professions, umps and refs are probably not gonna get that love usually.
no, man. So I think what I've gotten is it's a blessing. So I
Yeah.
always try to, say yes and take the picture. Now, if it's a high school game, I'll tell them like, hey, if there's a way you can get back by this door when I come out. But I said when the game's over, I got to run out.
Yeah.
I got to go get dressed. I'll come back out, and if you're out here, sure. But most of the other people, it's like when I come in the gym or when I'm going out or and it's a blessing. Like I don't find it bothersome at all.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering that, like, when they're
No,
talking in the Indie Star about the YouTube ref or the TikTok ref, like, did that ever make you feel some type of way, or it's always been
well, it did at first. Like I kind of just laugh about it now because I'm like, people are like I make videos and I don't really officiate, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
hilarious to me. And then a lot of people thought I made the videos. Like Brady, we were talking like I'm a very honest guy. I'm terrible at technology. I got to be walked through a lot of stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, I can do basic things I can do my job on my laptop.
Uh-huh.
Outside of like a lot of extravagant, oh
Oh, yeah,
no, they'll
man.
say all you got to do is do this and that. I'm like, hey man, you need to walk me through that.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. So as far as like me making a video, you'd have probably a better chance me being a 5-star cook. I mean, I don't have to do all that stuff, man. The kid that does it, he makes the videos.
Yeah. You put it out there, and
Yeah, and he actually has been posting for me. I don't have time, bro. I work, it's crazy. Like I said, I work. I teach. I get off work about 3:15. I
You gotta get
I
ready for
go
the game.
home, take a shower, get my if it's a high school game, and then sometimes I'm straight out. If I got a college game, I'm straight out. And then
Yeah.
when I get to where I'm going, I take a quick shower and shave. You know what I'm saying? My head, my face. Um, as y'all know, I'm bald. I shave my head every day, so a lot of times that's what I do for basically 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We're in the nitty gritty right now, man. This is the
when that season gets over, I'm at the point in my life on like summer ball. I'll do three is my preference on
okay.
Saturdays and
Okay.
Sundays. I
It'll
will
start to
do
slow down a
four
little bit afterward.
if I have to. Oh
Okay.
yeah, and
Okay.
then I'll do I do pro-am stuff in the summer. I'm off work. I
Yeah.
do a little bit more in June with the high school month, just because I can stay really local. I don't want to travel. Like when I travel, I want to go on vacation, which that's my thing to do
Yeah,
now.
it's a long season, man. You gotta get off your feet a little bit.
I don't want to travel to do basketball anymore in the summer. Like I've traveled with EYBL. I've done things for Adidas, the Gauntlet. I will do now. I'll do EYBL in Indy and maybe Louisville when it's in Louisville or like locally. I don't want it because it's not really a vacation when you go do that, or it's not people like, oh, you get to go there. I'm like, yeah, I've been to LA before with EYBL, and guess what? I did 4 games a day, and then I got off my feet, and it was time to do games in the morning the next day. And it's not like you get to go out and enjoy wherever you're at.
Yeah, you're leaving, you're
So,
going in and out in the
yeah,
gyms. And yeah, you're not
I
outside
don't want to.
on that.
I don't want to do that anymore. I haven't done that in the last. I haven't traveled with summer ball probably in
For a while now.
I don't know, 3 or 4 years. I
Okay.
stay very local in the summer. I mean, I'm getting people reaching me out, wanting me to come here, there, and some. Now, like, I would go possibility to work the Drew League in LA. I'll go do something like that,
That's cool. Yeah,
something
yeah.
big. But I'm not going to do any summer tournaments just to
Heck
go
yeah, you
anymore.
got yeah, you got to have your own life too, man. And I was gonna kind of get into that too. So a little bit of a load question. You got like, where you're at right now. You got to that level. You've been doing your thing the past 22 years. What's next for Ref Rob?
You know what? The biggest growth spot I could see myself having basketball wise
Yeah.
is potentially some FIBA things. I'm
Yep.
not gonna get specific,
Okay.
Brady, just because I'm the kind of person I don't like saying things until it's
Let
100%.
make it happen first, and
But
then
I think I have the most room to grow at the FIBA level. I'll continue to work high school. I'm phasing myself out for college, really, just because I don't have any room for growth anymore, and that's okay.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want people to think I'm bitter at all. So I'm going to work the TBL this year.
yeah,
Continue to work for the Pacers and the Fever.
yeah.
Just
No,
continue to work. I'll be around the game. I love it. It's my passion. That's on the basketball side. On the personal side, take an extra vacation with my wife. You know what
there
I'm
you go,
saying? Like
man. Smart man. That's a
that's
smart
why
man right there.
I want to go on an extra vacation a year,
There you go.
get my feet up, relax a little more,
Good, good.
spend a little more time with my kids and grandkids and things like that, man.
That
Stuff that,
perspective's great too, man. Because sometimes people get too caught up in what they're doing for
oh
a
man,
living, and they don't.
it is. My wife's very understanding. She knows for 4 months I'm gonna be on the
You're
grind,
on the
but
grind. Don't get to see too much.
that's why I've changed so much over the summer ball. Where I used to travel more or do
Yeah,
more
now you're
games.
hunkering it a little bit more and staying low. Good.
Summer ball for me is either vacation money or some extra little whatever. I'm not trying to make the amount I was trying to make years ago off summer ball. Just
Yeah,
can't do it.
yeah, yeah. And like I think personally too, just with you going forward, like the way I looked at it when I saw all of your videos coming out, I thought to myself, this could be a possibility of down the road, like with what you're doing and how you're communicating
Yeah,
with the coaches and players, that this could be a very positive thing for player and coach to ref interaction down the road. Like this could be, especially with you, like you said, you're not cookie cutter, you do your own thing, you have your own
yeah.
personality. Like this could be
Appreciate
something that
that.
helps, because obviously sometimes a great basketball game gets ruined, like you said, because
It
people blame
can.
the refs down the run. And like I think with what you're doing and the way you are talking, like actually, like I as a coach, I respect refs that go up to the players and like have a normal conversation with them and say, hey,
Yeah,
this is what I saw here. And it's a teaching point
absolutely.
too. And you're a teacher, and I think it all collabs very well. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And
Something I'm interested in, and I haven't put it together for yet, but like I've had a lot of people reach out to me and said that I should give a class, not just on, basically on, it would be not only like teaching what to do as an official, like, your mechanics and play calling and positioning on the court and so on and so on, but also how to talk
communicate with
to
everyone.
players, how to talk to
I think
coaches.
that's super important, man. That establishes the rapport early.
Yeah, I haven't moved forward at all with it because I'm one of them people. If I do it, I want to do it correctly. So I just
No,
gotta
I get that. I get that.
I gotta do it the right way if I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. And do you think the refs at the higher level, especially the reason I have this podcast is PUMP stands for Prepare Ultimate Mental Performance.
Hmm.
Do you think higher level refs need like sports psychologists or mental performance coaches to deal with the battles with fans and players and coaches constantly arguing?
I don't think it would hurt. And Brady, it probably would depend on the individual. You
Yeah,
know what
how
I'm
they handle
saying?
it.
Yeah, you
Okay.
probably have some guys that could really help. Some guys probably figure they're mentally strong enough. But I think all of us can use uh, a hand here and there in
Yeah, I
something.
always say a third party person to help out.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you're if you're gonna officiate for 4.5 months, heavily, certain I don't know, a lot of people may not
You
work
gotta
as
be
much
a
as you,
mental.
but
Yeah,
the mental side of it is hard because you're gonna have you got so much to deal with, not only officiating the game itself, but like you were saying, the mental aspect, you got to deal with people screaming at you. Now, if
constantly.
you're not mentally strong enough for that, this probably, and this is not, I don't know
You're not
what
made for the business.
somebody could do for you to get you ready for that if you can't take criticism and can't take being screamed at, because fans are going to yell, coaches are going to grind, and players are going to try to work, especially at a higher
Oh
level.
yeah,
That part of the game probably is not going to change.
yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you. So awesome. This has been great, man. So I got one last thing for you.
Appreciate it.
I got one last thing for. So this is the last part of it. This is the 1-and-1, the bonus segment.
Okay.
I got a take for you. This is like a very common thing in roughing. So I used to be this guy. I'm not anymore because I learned from this. Fans or coaches or players point to the scoreboard. Hey, Rob Ref, it's 8-2 in fouls, man.
Oh,
What you
God.
doing? So I got my take for it, and I want to hear your take.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Now that I know, it drives me nuts because uh, when an officiated game through and through, it shouldn't be 15-14, 15-15 fouls. It depends on the aggressiveness of the
Absolutely.
team taking to the rack, and if they're a shooting team more. And
Yep.
I just want to hear from you, and I could get more into it, but I won't go down the wormhole. But like, according to you, and I know for a fact you've probably heard that so many times. How do you handle it, and what's your take on people saying the fouls should be even?
Well, you remember when I said earlier that it's hard for me to sit during a basketball game with a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that don't know
yeah.
what they're
You
talking.
talk to someone about that?
Yeah, that's number one. First of all, you hit on this when you just commented. If a team is playing man-to-man full court defense and the other team's playing a zone, common sense, who's going to have more fouls?
There you go. Team, put it up, man.
They're in a full court trap and they're more aggressive. They're probably going to have
Yeah,
more
more
fouls
fouls.
than the team sitting back in the 2-3 zone. When coaches come to me with it, I will give them an answer very quickly. Like, if they're ridiculous with it and they're going too far, I'm gonna be like, stop fouling. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
you guys are playing
control
too
your.
aggressive. It does
Yeah,
not have to be even, like
it
that you're
doesn't.
asking
It's
for.
where in the rule book does it say be even? Now, consistency comes on. Now, this is what I'm gonna give you this really quickly. That's why I always say call a foul that's a foul. This is where you get yourself in trouble, especially high school now with the 5 fouls you shoot to. So you get an official that calls 2 fouls that he probably could have let go because it was very marginal and the game's not hella aggressive. Now you're two. Now the next thing you know, they drive to the basket and you call a foul. Now it's 3, and it was a foul. Let's just say that. Now it's 3, or it goes to 4. But 2 or 3 of them were very marginal, right? So if I'm the coach of the team that's 4-0 up, I am going to question. I'm like, hey, Rob, what's going on? You know, your guy out here called 2 fouls that were marginal on the ball that had nothing to do with the play. Now, being a seasoned official, if I'm one of my partners, which the guys I work with don't really do this, we don't.
Yeah.
But if it's 4-0 and he's called 3 marginal fouls, I hate to tell you, I'm going to probably have to get one on the other end because
Okay. So
I
there's
got
to a certain point, it gets to a certain point on the court. We're like, man, like if it gets like that, okay, then we got.
Here's the thing: nobody's going to say that either. I'm just the one that I'm going to be honest. The bottom line is, as officials, if you have a good crew, if you have any crew together, the objective of the game is for us to mirror each other's calls. That's consistency. So if you and I and another person are working together, our calls should mirror. So, you know, you can't call touch fouls at this end and I can't. You're calling touch fouls down here and I'm letting them play through contact. No, it's going to be a horrible game. That's why we should mirror each other. Obviously, rival games that are two teams that are going at it.
You probably got to have a quick whistle.
You're going to have a quicker whistle than you will.
Yep.
And hopefully you have to make them, when that happens, you have to make them adjust.
Make sure. Because when you hear a coach saying, oh, you made that call down there, but why not down here? And then it's like, man, here we go.
Then what will happen also if the game is very, very aggressive and you get teams talking and it's hyped and the crowd is going nuts, if you don't know what you're doing, it's easy to lose a game.
Absolutely. No, that's an awesome take on it, man. Hey, awesome. This was incredible. I love getting inside.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, this was great, man.
Thanks for all the support as well, man.
It's going to continue to happen, man. This is good for the basketball community, having a guy like you out there teaching the game. And someone told me one time that refs never win, but I don't know, man. You're winning right now, man. I know
I'm trying,
man.
I'm trying to do first. Hey, but the funny thing is, somebody made a comment the other day. They said, Rob, you might be the first ref with an NIL. But let me tell you what, I've been out here for 23 years. If I get one, Brady, I promise you this, I'm going to take it.
You know, man, you got to take anyone you can. So, hey, Rob Wann A.K.A. Ref Rob, really appreciate you, man. Keep doing your thing. Had a great time with you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, Brady.
Thank you to everyone who has taken the time out of their day to give the Pump Podcast a listen. Please give us a follow on Instagram or TikTok at pump_pod. You can also tune in on our YouTube or Spotify channels. Last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, concerns on any of the episodes or future episodes coming up, please email harringtonpump@gmail.com. Once again, thank you for listening and hope you can tune in soon.